Listen up. There's a bird in Africa that can kill a lion with a single kick. And before you think that's impressive enough, here's what will really blow your mind. This same bird has been playing a deadly game of chess with predators for millions of years, and winning. While you were told ostriches bury their heads in the sand when danger strikes, the truth is far more terrifying. I have spent weeks breaking down how the world's largest bird survives in one of the most dangerous ecosystems on Earth, and what I discovered will change everything you thought you knew about survival. This isn't just about speed or size. This is about intelligence that rivals some mammals. So if you think you know ostriches, watch this video to the end, because what I just discovered will completely surprise you. Here's something that might completely change the way you see ostriches. They have very large eyes that are actually bigger than their brains. Each one is about 5 centimeters wide, roughly the size of a snooker ball, making it the largest eye of any land animal on Earth. Those massive eyes can spot a predator from over 2 miles away. 2 miles? That's like standing in your backyard and seeing a lion prowling near your neighbor's house 3 blocks down. But here's where it gets interesting. Their eyes aren't just big, they're positioned perfectly on the sides of their small heads, giving them nearly 360-degree vision. They can see behind them without turning their heads. And when night comes, when most animals can barely see and become easy targets, the ostrich switches to its secret advantage: night vision. Inside its eyes, it has a ratio of 25 rod cells for every 1 cone cell. For anyone wondering what that means, inside every animal's eyes, there are 2 main types of light-sensitive cells that help them see in both day and night. Rod cells are used for seeing in the dark. They're great at detecting movement and shades of gray, but they can't see color. Cone cells are what we use during the day when there's plenty of light. They allow us to see colors and details clearly. For comparison, humans only have about 4 rod cells for every 1 cone cell. That means ostriches can see incredibly well at night. They can even spot predators trying to sneak up on them in almost total darkness. But vision alone doesn't keep you alive in the wild. You need more than that. Do you know a single kick from an ostrich can actually take down a fully grown lion? I'm not exaggerating. It's happened in real life. There have been documented cases in Africa where an ostrich killed or seriously injured lions and other large predators, like hyenas, with just 1 powerful kick. Ho's long, muscular legs, you see, they're not just for running, they're built for fighting. Each leg ends in a large 2-toed foot, and one of those toes has a sharp claw that works like a dagger. When an ostrich kicks, it's not just a shove, it's a deadly strike. That kick can tear open a lion's stomach, break bones, and even knock a 400-pound predator backward. Here's what makes this even more incredible. Ostriches know exactly when to use this weapon. They don't panic. They don't waste energy. They calculate. When a predator gets too close, the ostrich's first instinct is to run. And we'll talk about that speed in a moment. But if it's trapped, if there's no way out, it doesn't panic or hide. It fights back. And it doesn't just kick wildly, it targets. The ostrich aims for the head, the chest, and other weak spots. Scientists who've studied ostriches in the wild discovered something fascinating. When danger appears, ostriches don't just panic and run, they think. They position themselves carefully, always keeping their powerful legs facing the threat. Sometimes they even back up against rocks or trees so nothing can attack them from behind. But here's what truly sets ostriches apart from most prey animals. They remember. If a lion attacks and fails, that ostrich remembers that lion. It remembers how it hunted. where it came from, and what pattern it used. The next time that predator shows up, the ostrich adjusts its behavior accordingly. An ostrich moves at around 43 miles per hour. To put that into perspective, Usain Bolt, the fastest human ever recorded, reached a top speed of 27 miles per hour. Even in water, where most animals slow down, an ostrich can still move at 18 miles per hour, while the fastest human swimmer only reaches around 6. But speed isn't just about big numbers. It's about how they use it, when to run, when to turn, and when to strike. Here's what happens when a cheetah, the fastest land animal, spots an ostrich. The cheetah can hit 70 miles per hour in short bursts, but it can only maintain that speed for about 20 to 30 seconds before its body overheats. The ostrich knows this, not consciously perhaps, but through millions of years of evolutionary programming. So, when a cheetah charges, the ostrich doesn't just take off in a straight line. It zigzags. Every few seconds, it suddenly changes direction, forcing the cheetah to keep turning and correcting its path. That drains the cheetah's energy fast, since it can only sprint at top speed for a short time before it tires out. Meanwhile, the ostrich has endurance. It can keep running at 43 miles per hour for long distances, sometimes for miles without stopping. Those powerful legs can cover nearly 16 feet in a single step. That's about the length of a small car. But there's something even more remarkable about how they move. Those strong legs aren't just built for speed, they also absorb shock. Because of their special two-toed feet and powerful thigh muscles, ostriches can run across rocky or uneven ground without getting hurt. They can turn quickly, jump, and speed up even on rough terrain that would easily break the legs of other animals. And when they're not running for their lives, they use that same incredible speed for something else entirely. Here's where ostriches show just how smart they really are. They don't survive alone. Out in the wild, you'll almost never see a single ostrich by itself. They live in groups, sometimes just a pair, other times flocks of over 100 birds. And this isn't just about having safety in numbers. It's about building a kind of surveillance network. When ostriches live together in a group, they act almost like a team with assigned roles. They know that when one bird puts its head down to eat, it can't watch for danger. So instead of everyone eating at once, a few ostriches stay alert, standing tall with their heads raised, scanning the area for predators like lions or hyenas. After a while, they take turns. The ones that were eating look up to keep watch, and the ones that were watching finally bend down to feed. It's not random. It's organized cooperation, like they're running shifts on lookout duty. This teamwork helps the whole group stay safe and well-fed at the same time. It shows that ostriches aren't just reacting by instinct. They're thinking, communicating, and working together to survive. And here's the genius part. Ostriches have also formed symbiotic relationships with other prey animals. You'll often see ostriches grazing alongside zebras and gazelles. Why? Because gazelles have incredible hearing and can detect predators through sound. Zebras have excellent pattern recognition and can spot camouflaged predators. And ostriches have those massive eyes that can see for miles. Together, they create an early warning system that's nearly impossible to defeat. But their social intelligence goes even deeper. Ostriches don't just rely on sight or movement. They communicate with each other using a range of sounds. They grunt, hiss, chirp, and make deep booming calls, each with its own meaning. Male ostriches even have a special call during breeding season. They fill a throat pouch with air and let out a low, muffled roar that can travel long distances across the savannah. letting females know exactly where they are, even if they're far away. And when danger shows up, ostriches don't just panic and run in every direction. The dominant males, usually the strongest and most experienced, will actually step forward, putting themselves between the predator and the rest of the group. They spread their huge wings, stomp, and make loud noises to distract the attacker, pulling its attention away from the others. While the predator focuses on the males, the rest of the flock gets time to escape. Now let's talk about that myth, the one you've heard your entire life. The idea that ostriches bury their heads in the sand when they're scared. It's completely false. And once you understand where that myth came from, you'll actually learn something interesting about how ostriches survive. Here's what really happens. When an ostrich puts its head into the ground, it's not being scared. It's just taking care of its eggs. They build their nests right on the ground by digging shallow holes in the dirt. Then they lay their massive eggs, the biggest of any bird in the world, each weighing around 3 pounds. During the day, you'll often see them lower their heads into the nest to turn the eggs or check their temperature. From a distance, especially in the shimmering heat of the African savanna, this looks like the ostrich has buried its head in the sand. But there's another behavior that helped create this myth, and it's actually a smart survival trick. When an ostrich senses danger but can't tell exactly where the threat is coming from, it doesn't always run right away. Instead, it will lower its whole body to the ground and stretch its long neck flat against the dirt. Because the ostrich's head and neck are light-colored, they blend perfectly with the sandy soil of the savanna. From far away, it almost looks like the bird's head is buried in the ground, but really, it's hiding in plain sight, staying completely still until the danger passes. This is what I call tactical concealment. And here's what makes this even more impressive. Ostriches can assess threats and choose the appropriate response. If the predator is far away and hasn't spotted them yet, they'll use this low-profile technique. If the predator is close and has locked on, they'll run. If escape isn't possible, they'll fight. But that myth almost destroyed them. For centuries, humans hunted ostriches because they thought the birds were stupid and easy to catch. Ostrich populations plummeted. They were hunted for their feathers, which were used in fashion, their meat, and even their eggs. And because people believed they were stupid, there was little concern about driving them to extinction. Today, we know better. Here's something that sounds completely crazy. Ostriches eat rocks, and not by accident. They do it on purpose. They'll swallow pebbles, small stones, and sometimes even bits of metal they find lying around. But before you think it's some kind of mistake, you need to know this. It's actually one of their most important survival tricks. Ostriches are omnivores, meaning they eat both plants and animals. They'll feed on roots, leaves, and seeds, but they also eat insects, lizards, snakes, and even small rodents. Their diet is super flexible, which helps them survive in places where most other animals would starve. But here's the problem. They don't have teeth. So how do they break down all that tough plant material and actually digest their food? That's where the rocks come in. The stones they swallow don't just disappear. They go to a special part of the ostrich's stomach called the gizzard. The gizzard is made of strong muscles, and as it squeezes and contracts, those swallowed rocks act like tiny grinding tools. As the food moves through the gizzard, the rocks crush and grind it up into small, soft pieces the ostrich can easily digest. This allows ostriches to extract nutrients from food that other animals can't process. They can eat dry, tough vegetation during droughts when other prey animals are dying of starvation. They can go for long periods without water because they extract moisture from the plants they eat. Their digestive system does something remarkable. Their intestines are 46 feet long. 46 feet. This extended digestive tract allows them to absorb maximum nutrients from minimal food, giving them the energy they need for those explosive sprints and powerful kicks. They've essentially turned their entire digestive system into a survival tool. And here's the real survival advantage. When the dry season hits and water becomes hard to find, most animals have to gather around the few remaining water holes. But that also means predators, like lions and hyenas, know exactly where to find them. But ostriches are different. They can get most of their water from the plants and food they eat, so they don't need to hang around those dangerous water holes. That simple ability makes them much harder for predators to find or ambush. Let me tell you what finally convinced me that ostriches are far smarter than we ever gave them credit for. There's a story from a zoo in Australia that shows just how smart some animals can be. A crocodile there spent 6 months studying one of the zookeepers, the person who fed it every day. Each day during feeding time, the crocodile would stop just a tiny bit earlier than the day before. We're talking only a centimeter or two. The keeper didn't notice because the change was so small. But over time, the crocodile had inched itself closer and closer to the edge of the enclosure. Then one day, when the setup was perfect, it lunged and grabbed the man's leg. If a reptile can do that, imagine what a bird with a brain evolved for survival can do. Scientists have noticed something truly impressive about ostriches. They learn from experience and actually change their behavior based on what happens to them. For example, if a predator attacks from a certain direction but fails, the ostriches won't forget. They'll adjust where they graze and start avoiding that area completely. If a water source becomes dangerous, maybe because predators wait nearby, they'll find a new one and remember the safe path to get there. Like we mentioned earlier, they can even recognize individual predators. A lion that attacked them once will be treated very differently from a lion they've never seen before. Ostriches can read body language, hunting patterns, and even sense how much of a threat a predator really is. And maybe the most impressive thing of all, ostriches teach their young everything they know. When the chicks hatch, they don't just wander off on their own. They stay with their parents for months, learning everything they need to survive. The parents show them which plants are safe to eat, how to spot danger, where to find water, and even when to run or when to fight. That process is called cultural transmission, passing down knowledge and survival skills from one generation to the next. It's something we usually see in mammals, like elephants or primates, not in birds. Their brains might be smaller than their eyes, but they're incredibly efficient. Every part of their brain is fine-tuned for one purpose: survival. And in the harsh reality of the African savannah, that's the only thing that truly matters. So here's what we know. Ostriches aren't just surviving in one of the deadliest ecosystems on Earth. They're thriving. They've turned their bodies into weapons, their eyes into surveillance systems, and their social structures into defensive networks. They've mastered speed, combat, camouflage, and strategic thinking. They're not the dumb birds we thought they were. They're evolutionary masterpiece. And if you found this fascinating, subscribe to my channel and maybe drop a like to support our channel growth. Thank you.